Hey everybody, welcome to Dom's Den. Today's guest has spent over 20 years making a name for himself as one of the absolute best stand-up comics in the business. If you don't know who he is by now, you must be living under a rock. He's got 5 comedy specials on Netflix, all of which are hysterical. In 2019, he sold out Madison Square Garden 4 times in 2 nights. Who does that? You like this? You like that? That's one of my. By the way, that's one of my favorite bits that he does. He's also brought his talents to the big screen, playing the fantastic roles in the critically acclaimed films such as The Green Book and The Irishman, which I had a pleasure of working with him on. It's my pleasure to welcome to the den Sebastian Maniscalco. What's up, buddy?
Sebastian, applause.
How are things, man?
Things are good. We're finally back touring again. I was in Nashville a couple weeks ago, Las Vegas last weekend. So, people are out, and it's in those 2 cities. You wouldn't have noticed there was a pandemic. I mean, no mask, people packed shoulder to shoulder in the Ryman Auditorium and pews. So it was nice. It was nice to get. Listen, I've been on side 15 months, just like everybody else. So for me to be back out working again was like therapeutic.
Did you have to gear yourself up for that? Like being like on the sidelines for like over a year, you know?
Yeah, I had to feel the rust off. I did comedy clubs for about 2 months, just kind of working some stuff out. It's therapeutic for me to do stand-up comedy. I got to get this stuff out. The first 6 weeks of the pandemic, I was not fun to be around because, number one, I didn't know if this was ever going to come back because I think very negatively. I know that you're supposed to be positive and, you know, I'm like, this is it, babe. Selling the house, eat ramen noodles.
That's the Italian in you, though. That's the Italian in you. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I was about to get a job at Amazon driving a truck. I didn't know if this was going to come back. And,
It beats selling those satellite dishes.
Oh, God. Yeah, so when we finally got some light at the end of the tunnel, I'm like, all right, finally we're gonna go back and start doing this. But yeah, for a while there, I was like, and listen, I'm good with my money. I save my money, which I was shocked to hear a lot of these people like 2 weeks into the pandemic, they're broke, but yet they got the latest iPhone and an $80,000 car.
Right.
My father, being Italian, was always like, sock it away. Your tongue might fall out tomorrow. You know, like he was always.
You never know.
You never know, right? And maybe that is Italian. Maybe that is the mindset.
It is.
But yeah,
It's a very conservative lifestyle. The only time they're not conservative is when it comes to food.
Yeah, well, think about where they came from.
Right.
Right. They didn't have much out there, you know. And having food was like a luxury item. So,
but this is what I wanted to bring up before. It's like obviously a big fan of your comedy. I feel like I could relate. You know me. I love comedians. We had this conversation before. I've had them on this. I have so many comedians on this podcast, and I'm always intrigued to see how they got to that certain point. What made them say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow my dream. I'm going to do this. But there's something about your comedy that I identify with right away. Mm-hmm. There's so much of your comedy. I'm like, I know exactly what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. I know exactly like the bit with your dad, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? Why don't you go start a business? I understand that.
I was working
people coming over, giving the food, like you were just saying with Pat's parents. Uh-huh. I understand that. Why do you think you're from Chicago? I'm from New York, and you know what? It's no different. I think if your house was in New York and my house was in Chicago, it would be the same. Mm-hmm. What is it about our culture that's like that?
Well, I think first and foremost, I talk about family. I just happen to be in an Italian family. Now, if you're Greek, Spanish, Palestinian, it all falls under that. Because I've had a lot of people come up to me from a lot of different cultures, and they say, "Man, same thing with the Greeks, or same thing with." It's just about family, and it's just about the immigrant kind of mentality. A lot of us come from parents that was born in another country and then kind of brought those old world, old school values to the United States. And I found that particularly humorous because I didn't hang around with a lot of Italian families. I was in a basically suburban enclave of Chicago, 25 minutes outside the city. I didn't grow up like, a lot of people think I grew up and I was on the street, and I grew up in a white suburban area. I had Italian friends, I had Greek friends and whatnot, but it wasn't like this, the New York, like your upbringing. I know your upbringing wasn't particularly like that. Like it was, I had an Indian guy next to me. It wasn't Little Italy, it wasn't like everybody came out and they were having meatballs. It was
meatball fight, which wouldn't be so bad.
Hey, Louie, get the super song.
Yeah, I wasn't, but my family was like that. And we were more Americanized than a lot of the Italians that I knew.
Right.
My father was a hairdresser. So he was like, he still spoke broken English, but he was like hip. He had a bald with a ponytail. He came home from work and gave me hairspray. Like it was. I didn't have like this Italian, like the quintessential Italian father that came home and hey, it wasn't. It wasn't that. The guy with the wife beating. Get the look at it. It wasn't that guy. It was more of a hip guy. Like my dad did women's hair. And in order to do that, you can't, he became acclimated to the American lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then still holding on to a lot of that traditional Italian values. So I kind of had the best of both worlds when it came to my dad. And a lot of the comedy that I give to my father, not necessarily my father doing it. Like I do a joke about the antifreeze and he's killing people killing animals all over the yard. That's not even my dad. That's a buddy of mine's father that I just made my father. It's like a movie, this stand-up comedy. You just out of life, you go, oh, that would be a good piece to give to my dad. Like my dad gets stopped on the street. Oh, you kill raccoons? And my dad's like, what? Raccoons? So yeah, when you put the set together, it's just like,
I like raccoons. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
My buddy sent me a video, an Instagram video that you recently had a critter in your yard.
The
I
skunk.
watched it.
Oh God.
This guy's got a skunk in the yard.
What happened with the skunk?
Yeah, my dad was here, and we had a trapper come out and whatnot. But and you see in the video, my dad's like not afraid of anything. It's just I think generational. And I think Dom still has it because I think I look at Dom's Instagram too. Dom's like he's got a garden, he's building a deck.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's like old world mentality that you don't really see a lot. At least I don't. My friends in my generation that they're doing like their own work in the yard and they're doing it's just every generation I think gets watered down and it's sad, but it's just kind of the way of the world. But I think Dom is one of the guys that I'm like this guy looks like he fell out of a tree in Sicily.
We show up to his house today. He's untrenching wires, running from the house to the lamppost.
We never know what he's doing.
Would you call a guy for that? You're digging holes and playing with live wires. They're low voltage. Don't worry.
What my front yard looks like right now is like Bill Murray and
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. I got all these. I'm trying to find this freaking splice in the wire that's causing the ground to short out.
Nah, you gotta call a guy.
Yeah, I had the guy. I had my electrician on FaceTime.
See, I was
electrician up.
I did, Mario.
See, I think some people who do these jobs, they interest me a
Mario,
lot.
shout out to Mario, the
Yeah, shout out to
electrician.
Mario.
He ain't gonna give you a discount. You know?
This guy, this fucking trapper that
Why would
comes
he
to
give me
his
a
house.
discount? I'm doing
I was
the work.
amazed by the lack of equipment that guy had. He's there to catch a skunk and nothing, not even a clothespin on the nose. Just like, this is my life.
I asked him, I said, are you going to get sprayed? He goes, I might. It was like, you might. I mean, I would come with a hazmat suit on. This guy came in a t-shirt and jeans to take a skunk out of my yard. And listen, I get sprayed every once in a while. I go home, I wash it off. So I don't know. He, again.
Lucky wife.
That's game over. That's game over.
Is your dad living with you, or is he just visiting?
No, he came to visit for about 10 days. He's kind of semi-retired right now.
Is he still in Chicago, Illinois?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
And he loves it when he comes out here. He's just, it's just, I want to get him to come out more. My dad's 75 years old. And, when they get that age, we're starting to fall apart. His shoulder, just had the surgery on his shoulder, and he's had quadruple bypass in the past. So as your parents get to this age, you really want to start spending a lot of time with them, because it's coming to the end of the road.
Yeah.
I always say it's like our turn to, like, they raised us, so it's our turn to take care of them when they get to a certain age.
Yeah.
It's just our responsibility.
Yeah. It's you come out the way you came in, helpless. The only thing is,
I've been helpless throughout, though.
Yeah. You're a lost cause.
Hold on, a life of avoiding manual labor.
Well, I want to know what made you leave. What made you chase your dream? What made you leave Chicago and chase your dream for comedy?
What made me leave? I knew I was going to do stand-up comedy at a young age. I told my second grade teacher that's what I wanted to do. I was immersed in Johnny Carson. Watching Johnny Carson with my father every night. I was amazed with the comedians. On Saturday morning, I would go to my uncle's house, who would tape all the HBO specials, and Evening at the Improv, all that stuff, because I didn't have cable. And I just sat there and I watched it over and over and over again. So I really fell in love with stand-up comedy at a young age. And then, coming from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, the entertainment business seems so far away. I'm like, where does this even happen? It seemed like a mystery to me, because I didn't really have an in or knew nobody in the business. But I went to college my freshman year. I told my father, this ain't for me. I'm failing. And he says, like, just stay in school, get your degree. So I got my degree. And then shortly after graduating, I came out to LA in 1998 when I was 24 years old. I figured, I didn't know anything. I mean, I come from Chicago, a great comedy town, but nothing. I figured if you want to go to the entertainment business, you go to LA or you go to New York.
Right.
So I went to LA and decided this is what I wanted to do. My parents were 100% supportive, which, typically in an Italian family, you don't really get that type of support if you want to go into the arts, because they don't really see any stability in it, no insurance or what have you. They're always worried about something.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it.
I didn't have a plan B. There was no, like, I'm going to give myself 5 years. I'm like, listen, this is what I love to do. I wasn't really the class clown or anything like that. I was very shy. I used to observe people and then come home and tell my parents about what I saw at school today. And my first audience was really my family.
Right.
And then I really felt comfortable on stage. Anytime I had to give a book report or do the ice cream social and dance, that's where I was like, oh, I can't wait to do that. And then I would like go in a hole after that. I was like, that was my
like the family was like the litmus test.
Yeah.
Like I think Eddie Murphy used to do that too, and see how your family reacted towards that stuff.
You got to get an audience wherever you can find it. That's it.
No, but I think that also adds to why you're so successful at what you do, is that you didn't give yourself a 5-year plan. There was no plan B.
Yeah, I think
there really was no safety net.
No safety net.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no secret to this. People go, head down and just performing every night. That's all I tell people. young comedians coming up, like, can you give me advice? There's no substitution for hard work. You got to go up there and fail. You got to see every audience. You got to go through every situation. And that's what I tell people. I mean, there's no shortcuts to this stuff. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for people to break than other people, but you got to stay your course. You can't look at another comedian and go, oh, why did he get this and this and that? I just put my head down and I just did stand-up comedy, and I treated it like a business too. I'm always on time. Entertainment types, they think their shit don't stink, and we're gonna wait on a movie set. I'm the first one that let's go. Let's get this going.
Call me Flash.
I don't like people that are late.
I don't like it. I think it's very disrespectful, especially on a movie set. I think it's disrespectful.
And I want to tell you
to a lot of people.
I want to tell you about this movie that we were talking briefly before I got on here. Great movie to be a part of. Great cast, nice people, right? I had to wear sideburns in this movie, so they glued them on, right? I can't get the glue out of my hair. Now, this is the last thing. I can't get it out. I had a mustache. I can't get the glue. I told the woman, don't worry about it. I'm going to take a shower tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And
that'll get it off.
I still can't get the glue out of my hair.
Yeah.
Tom, you were dressed up in The Irishman with prosthetics and that whole thing. Did they take everything off, wipe you clean, and then you go home? Because I got at the end of the day, I'm like, take it off. Let me get out of here. I don't want to sit in the seat for another hour while they put alcohol on my hair.
Yeah, they put alcohol, but they also use this white cream stuff. It kind of it looked like Noxzema.
You could get a...
But they would just go... and then, the glue would just rub off, but I think also alcohol does it. But alcohol, I mean, if you're doing it every day,
it's going to dry.
It'll kill your skin.
Yeah.
I don't know what this thing.
You got to get him the cream connection.
Maybe I'll call Mike Marino.
Call Mike Marino and ask him what he does to the glue out of his hair.
Did you have fun on this film?
Listen,
it's good. It's
acting.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time with the process of filmmaking. This is my problem. With stand-up comedy, I get an immediate reaction of, I'm doing good here. People are laughing. I do a movie and they yell cut, and I'm looking for an applause. I'm looking for something.
Yeah.
That's called the sitcom, multicam sitcom with a live audience.
Oh, yeah. Quiet set.
Wow.
Tough crowd.
But nothing. It's cut, moving on. I'm like, nothing.
Not even a giggle from the peanut gallery?
No, thank you.
From Video Village?
The gaffer doesn't even give a shit.
No, I know what he means, man. I know what he means.
Tom, when you're doing this, do you go, oh, I'm good? I mean, in your head, how do you justify what you're doing is a good performance?
When they say moving on,
That's it.
I've learned that's the cue. That's the green light to say, hey, you know what? Everything was the person who's making the decision is satisfied, and we're ready to move on. Although you're dealing, I'm freaking neurotic. We've had these conversations. We've texted each other while doing The Irishman.
You get the same issues.
You have the same issues.
And he was surprised. He goes, that still happens to you? I'm like, yeah, it still happens to me. But
yeah, I'm not confident.
It's hard.
What I'm doing is right. And when I hear moving on, this is how I hear it. He ain't gonna do this right. Moving on. I hear it in a different, this guy don't have it. We're moving on to the
right. Yeah. And you know what it is, Sebastian? That's the same guy who's saying, you know what, sell the house. We're going to pack up. We're going to do this. Exactly. That's the same guy.
Yeah.
That's
It's the negative.
That's
thinking.
me and you.
Yeah, it's the negative thinking.
It's
Yeah.
all over.
I other actors, they're like, do you want another one? Do you want another one? No, I'm good. Yeah. Like, they have already convinced themselves that last take was great.
Ain't gonna get any better.
So, me, if you give me the option to do another one,
You'll do it.
I'm going to do another one. Because I'm like, in my sick mind, I'm thinking, why are you asking me if I want another one? Why?
Was it not
Why?
good
Was
enough?
there something that I didn't give you
Yeah.
that you're just trying to be polite to tell me if I want another one? Or do you really want another one?
I like what he's saying though. Like if
Right?
if they're happy with it, they should
So
clap.
is that happening?
Yeah, no, that happens.
He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I analyze everything that they're telling me. You know, like he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, this time do it louder." And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't like the way I did. Like, I'm trying to figure out, did you not like the choice I made and you want me to do it louder? There's like a bunch of, with comedy, I'm the director, the writer, the performer. Nobody's telling me do it this way. So when I'm on a movie set, I'm a little like, I don't know. It takes a while for me to like settle in. I don't like coming into a movie when it's like up and running and they're 4 weeks into it. I feel like the new kid at school.
It's tough.
Yeah, I'm not Mr. Personality. I've always been like that. When it was lunchtime at school and there was a group of friends and I didn't have anybody there, I sat by myself. I didn't like go, mind if I come in and eat? So when I'm on a movie set, they all got their whatever they are doing for the last 4 weeks. So when they yell cut, they got like a rapport with each other already.
Have you done a guest spot on a show or anything like that, on a TV show or anything like that?
No.
Because it's kind of like the same kind of feeling doing a guest spot on a show. Like if you're going on a show that's been on the air for 3 years, that's pretty much at that particular time a well-oiled machine. Was there a guy, a comedian in Los Angeles that when you got there, you were like, wow,
Yeah, his name is Freddie Soto. He passed away. He was Mexican guy, and he talked about his family and his father in a way that I wish I could have done at that time. It's just with comedy, there's a process you got to go through feeling comfortable on stage to really start showing who you truly are. In the beginning, I would just talk about observational type of things that happened to me. I went to Subway today. I went to Ross for Less today. It was just nothing really personal. You didn't know who I was. This guy was talking about stuff that was, personal to him. He would go into his father, which whole character he would do. And I'm like, wow, this guy really, really has it dialed in. And it really inspired me to start talking more about my family, and stuff that was a little bit more personal to me. My parents getting a divorce at a late age, and how I was dealing with that. So, yeah, that was the guy for me. Bill Burr, I was always a fan of him. Even before 1998, I used to see him on Comedy Central. This guy's really funny. And then the first day I moved to LA, I get in the elevator and I turn to my left and Bill Burr's in the elevator. First day I moved to LA, St. James Apartments on Hollywood Boulevard and Fuller Avenue, right by the Runyon Canyon. And I go, "You Bill Burr?" And he's, "Yeah." I go, "Bro, I just got here." He was gracious enough to invite me to a show he was doing that night at the Laugh Factory. And that's when I felt like, wow, I'm in Hollywood. I'm meeting the people that I'm seeing. This is like, I could touch it. So, and we remain, really good friends ever since. So, it was Freddie Soto and Bill Burr were kind of like my inspirations. Just Bill and the way he thinks is very
Bill's great.
Do you have any memorable bombs or like terrible audition stories, like a moment?
Auditioning, I was terrible at. Just terrible. I just go in.
It's a process.
It's it's just, any questions? I mean, again, should I? I don't. But if I don't ask, am I not going to get the job?
Do I shake their hand?
Yeah.
Do I come in as the character?
Damn voice inside.
It could be a very tedious process, but it's a very important process for them.
I didn't. When I did The Irishman, they go, "Do you want?"
That was easy.
That was an easy one for you.
I think Yeah, because Ellen Lewis. We've had Sherry Thomas on here. We've had there are some really casting directors that I know that really make a room feel really comfortable. And Ellen Lewis, for that particular project, made me feel very comfortable. It was, the meeting with Marty and Bob, that's a whole other story. But you auditioned for Ellen Lewis, or did you audition for Marty right away?
No. They said, you want to put it on tape in LA, send it, or you want to audition for Ellen Lewis in New York. I said, let me go to New York. Get in a room. Because, Dom, sometimes when you're in the room,
Better.
who knows, you might, there's a personality also that they take into consideration. I get in the room and I do my thing. This is what she tells me. You're looking really good. I mean, Marty saw you do a clip on, how your wife is Jewish, a stand-up clip, and she loved it. And he saw you in a small little movie. You did a little, it's looking really good. That's all you got to tell me is I'm looking good, and it's over. If you tell me, we don't even know if you're going to get this. There's about 20 people in line for this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to show you. But you tell me I'm good, I'm like, that's it. It's over. So I'm in there, and I lost all the saliva in my mouth because I am not hitting it. I'm not doing well at all. And she keeps working with me. And I'm like, oh, God, thank God. She's like, I know you got it in you. And I'm like, oh, God. It just got in my head. 35 minutes I'm in there. Come out drenched. They say he's not consistent. I don't think he can hold a scene with De Niro or Pesci. Just if he wants to take some of these notes and put it on tape, happy to look at it. But I can't send this to Marty. And I took the notes. I worked with my acting coach, sent in the tape, and they showed him that, which they liked. And I didn't even get the part that I originally auditioned for. I got the Gallo part. So
yeah,
crazy Joe.
It worked out, but this is
you did a great job, man. You did a great job.
It was just out of pure fear.
What's it like getting murdered on screen?
Murdered? Oh well, it's another thing. I'm on set. We're gonna do the murder scene, and Scorsese's there. And he's like, "Okay, so when you run to the door, you're gonna run out the door and through the glass." And I go, "This guy wants me to go through the glass." And I knew there was a stunt guy. There, but I'm thinking,
Who's that?
oh,
That's fucking great.
maybe he changed his mind and he wants me to go. Now I ain't gonna tell him.
No.
Guy, I ain't going through glass. Not what I do. So thank God one of the guys goes, Marty, we got a stunt guy for this. He goes, oh, come on in here. So I'm like, oh, thank God. I was ready to fly through the glass.
That's great.
Dom's been killed on screen dozens of times, so he's used to it.
Yeah, I'm always getting whacked. I kind of have it down to a science now.
I got a question for
I just
you.
do the quick drop.
You do it natural. The natural death. Yeah.
Like no.
Not a Shatter
You don't come back. You don't come back
Make
for a
believe
second.
like you got hit in the bat, got hit with a bat in the kneecaps and just go straight down.
That's how I plan on going.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. It's been well documented. Like when you went out to LA, the jobs that you had of glazing hams, selling satellite dishes and whatnot. But the Four Seasons, which is a pretty good gig for a waiter, a server in LA. Four Seasons is a nice gig. I worked at Rusty's Surf Ranch, not so nice. But what was the moment where you got to ditch all those gigs? What was the moment you realized you could walk away from that and just do comedy, just do what you love?
I did a thing called the Vince Vaughn Wild West Comedy Show. It was in 2005 with Brett Rutter,
I remember that.
Matt Ahmed, John Caparulo, Vince Vaughn, boss. We toured this country, 30 cities, 30 nights. I still had my job at that point. I actually had a month. I got a month off. I said, listen, I gotta have a month off. I got this big gig. Please, and he's like, yeah, I'll take a month off. So I still was planning on going back to work because this thing didn't pay a lot of money and what have you. So shortly after that, I started getting some corporate gigs. I started headlining some clubs. I'm like, okay, I could stay away. I started getting some work after that, just because people are like, oh, I was under Vince Vaughn. Well, I'm not nothing big, just maybe a $1,000 gig here, $4,000. So as long as I possibly can. And after a year, I never went back. And they called me. They're like, listen, you coming? Or you got your locker here. You got to give your locker away. I said, you know what? Give it away. I think I'm all right. And so, yeah, that was September 10th, 2005. I left. I never went back. I remember
it's a scary thing.
Remember the day.
We had Brett's a good friend. We had him on the show a few months ago.
Yeah.
You guys get word in Edgewise with him?
Yeah. You should have heard when we talked about masks and COVID in Florida.
Oh man.
Well, maybe we were able to probably get a word in because he was coming off of COVID.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was.
So,
it was great. It was great. It was Brett. You think you'll get the vaccine when it comes out? Fuck no.
Well, we had Brett, we had Bill.
Yeah.
Both who speak very highly of you. And how many years up to that point you did the Vince Vaughn special? How many years? Was it a good 10 years?
That was 7.
You were at it? 7, yeah.
7 years. Just working there and I stand up.
That's awesome.
Wow. I mean,
that's a lot of tables. Dom was a waiter. I don't know if you knew that. Here's a really good waiter.
not a good one.
You guys, anybody want the soup
people,
du jour?
I'll be honest with you. What is it? What kind of fish? It's fish.
The service industry.
Is a whole
No,
thing?
seriously, that's how I answered somebody one
It's
time.
fish. It swims in the water.
How's the branzino? Tastes like fish.
I was a busboy. in a restaurant on Arthur Avenue called Amici's. And then on the week, I was a waiter at a catering hall. So now when you're doing the catering hall, it's not really specific.
No tips.
It's like it's either a meat, chicken, fish, right?
I'll take the lasagna.
And a pasta. You got the pasta dish. What kind of pasta? It's either this or that. It's this. I don't know. I must have been having a bad day or something. And I go, oh, what kind of fish? I don't know. It's fish. And I remember saying that, and yeah, it didn't. I was like, what? This is not for me, man. I'm gonna go mix some cement, and I'm gonna go work with people I know. So when I gotta fuck off and go into the city, I can, and that's what I did. I took jobs that I could just drop.
Yep.
And because
You have to.
somebody always got to mix cement. You always need somebody to dig a hole. And I was willing to do that. It was scary when I was able to not do any of that no more. Not have when I got the wire. After that was when I didn't have. It was just the acting gigs, But it's scary.
Yeah. A lot of stress.
It's scary. Because you're like, oh shit, you go 6 months without booking anything, and you're like, shit.
Sure, yeah. I don't know.
I have that feeling. That he has. So I can completely sympathize with that.
Acting though is you're going in, unless you're making your own movie, your own project. You're going in. You're kind of at the will of people making the project. So.
Yeah.
That's just another added pressure on your shoulders with, hey, I'm 6 months out of work. Am I going to book this? If I don't get this, what's the next opportunity? With stand-up, it's like, you have an audience. So if you put a show on, you're always worried about, are they going to come? But at least it's you're not subject to the people making the movie to work.
Right.
You're not at someone else's mercy.
Well, you're more your own boss. Yeah.
Or you ever think about developing something for yourself for the screen? Something
I did. I co-wrote a movie. It's titled About My Father. It's a story about. It's really a slice out of my real life. What we do over the summer for about a week is we go and visit my wife's family up in North Carolina at a very waspy country club environment. So when I get up there, I look like I'm a gardener, you know. And I'm like a fish out of water. Everybody up there is well-to-do. You know, the type of people where my father-in-law will go see that guy over there. Like, yeah, you know the zipper on your coat? He makes the zipper. You know, like that type of like people that worked in these like obscure fields that you wouldn't know are successful. Anyway, it's about me and my dad going up to this country club for the weekend so my dad can meet the family because I'm thinking of marrying the girl. And we're shooting in September. De Niro's playing my father.
Oh wow!
Beautiful.
Are you kidding?
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Good for you, man.
That's
Yeah, that's
a
huge.
great. I
Fantastic.
mean,
Yeah, it's
That's
great, bro.
awesome.
I
that's
had anxiety like you wouldn't believe.
for what? What do you mean, Dom? You're all in the same
He
boat.
worked
We have
with Bob
anxiety
already.
whatever we do.
Work with Bob.
Yeah, but we have anxiety whenever you create something, right? Like he said before, he gets instant gratification when he's on stage and somebody claps. You get that rush of dopamine that goes to your head. When you're making a creation, when you're making a movie, you have to wait to see what the response is. So that's the added stress.
This is not
You're gonna kill it.
another
You're gonna
layer
kill it.
You're gonna kill
He's got
it.
another layer.
You're gonna kill it.
You play Madison Square Garden. Now, do you have to change? You have to change how you're performing in a big arena like that, as opposed to working like a 300, 400, 500 person
Comedy
club.
store. Yeah.
Your timing, I mean, your timing.
Yeah, well, the environment is totally different. Number one, I'm working in the center of the arena, not on one side, so I have to kind of work the entire stage, keep moving. So that's different. And sometimes I get really confused because when you're performing out to the audience, you kind of know where you are on the stage when you do a bit. You know, you kind of just kind of know, oh, I'm generally off to the left when I talk about this or whatever. When you're in the round, that all like goes out the window because, you know, there's no order. Mm-hmm. So that's a little confusing. I'm generally very animated to begin with, so that really kind of works for an arena type show. I don't know if I can stand behind a microphone. So I have to be a little bit more mobile when you do the arena shows just because, you know, you got 20,000 people and I'm like, you know, I'm playing to the back of the guy sitting on the roof. So, and there's screens there that, you know, a lot of people watch the screens even if they're in the fourth row. You know, we're so accustomed to looking at a screen now.
Right.
A seat in the house and you're still watching the screen. So, yeah, there's some minor choices you have to make when you're doing arena, but pretty much it's the same. I don't want to say it's the same. It's just, it's not as intimate. Listen, the comedy wasn't made to be performed in a hockey and basketball arena. It just wasn't made for that. So it's not
more intimate.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you go to a comic with 300 people. People are there. You're like tasting the guy. I can smell the cologne that the guy's wearing in the front row at an arena. You know, it's not.
You feel. You feel more disconnected from the audience?
I mean, you're generally just from the environment, you're going to be more disconnected. But try to stay as connected.
I would think so. Yeah.
It's definitely it's an adjustment, but you know, I didn't want to. You know, not that I didn't want. I never thought I was going to be doing this. I got into this thing. I go, I just want to do comedy for a living. I didn't have a vision board that said, Madison Square Garden. This is what I want to do. There was no
On your bucket list, you had no bucket
there was
list.
no bucket list. They just said, listen, you're doing 5 radio cities. The next time I think you should move into an arena. So I said, yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
hey, I didn't know it was going to sell. Who knows? Because every time you move up a clip, the ticket price goes up. And I get a lot of shit because, what your ticket prices are $800. Number one, they're going to a third-party site, and all scalpers like pick them up, and then they start selling them for an exorbitant amount of money. And I can't do anything about that. And
Right.
you know, it's like supply and demand. So I didn't know people were gonna come to an arena because the ticket price tends to jump up because what a lot of people don't know, I'm paying for the entire show.
Yeah.
I'm renting out the garden. I'm paying the ushers. I'm paying the lighting guy. So with all that production, you know, your ticket price ain't gonna be $20.
So it's like an Italian wedding. You pay for everything and you hope you get a boost.
You got to cover your seat. You got to cover the plate.
Hey, mark that down. That's $300 there.
Sebastian goes around Madison with the mailbox.
I didn't like the second half. Take 100 out of the envelope. Chicken was dry.
It's true, though.
It is true. It is true.
It's true. You know, you have 300 people at your wedding. You know, you're shelling out some. You know, you're shelling out some serious dough, and you're like, well, shit.
By the way, I thought
these people know it's $250 a plate.
I thought it was normal that you give cash to a wedding. Like I wasn't aware that people gave gifts.
No. I think
Like-
I don't. You know, I've seen other
That was a
people
shock
bring,
at my
like,
wedding.
a present. I was like, I don't remember. I don't
Dude,
remember
you
my
bring
mom
a
ever
present. You
bringing
bring a present. You bring a present to a wedding. You've missed the whole thing.
It was always an envelope. You know.
Yeah, no, I got a couple of presents.
Hey, now he's
I appreciate them all, though.
I've seen some Chicago weddings though. Some people are showing up with blenders. They are. You'll get a gift at a Chicago wedding.
All right, I'm gonna fire off some questions here on Dom's hot seat. Sebastian, what's one of your biggest pet peeves?
When someone doesn't bring something to a party I'm having. Let's say if I'm having people over and they don't show up with a bottle of wine or
Thank you.
something that, you know, when they just come empty-handed. It bothers me beyond belief.
Get the fuck out of here. Animals. Point at me. I bring something everywhere.
Not even a bag of potatoes.
I mean, my wife hates me because every time she's like, we got to be there at 10 o'clock. I'm like, well, first we got to stop by the store. We got to get a 6-pack or a bottle of wine.
For himself.
I'm not saying I'm not going to drink it, but I'm going to bring it. It's a presentation.
I'm glad he brought it up. So.
You know what? You got yes. I'm clearly the only Irish guy on this podcast right now.
Their brother-in-law.
Nothing. No safe zone here.
It's not gonna go well this weekend, guys. Just to let you know, Pat.
A lot of bickering.
Sebastian, you're on
Point at me for that
a
shit.
karaoke stage. What song are you singing?
I've done this before. I'm a huge Billie Jean guy when it comes to karaoke. Not only,
We got somebody
not
other than Bruce Springsteen here.
No. Yeah.
only sing it, but I do the moves.
You do the
Oh. The light up squares.
Yeah.
Is there a character from a movie or TV show who you would like to be for a day?
Movie or TV show character?
Yeah, you could just morph into this person.
Just just be that guy out at like Ralph's.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Ralph's.
Yeah,
Restaurant.
yeah, you could just be that
Diner,
guy.
wherever you want to go.
I like the character Christian Bale played in American Psycho.
Oh,
that's
God.
great.
That is crazy.
Sue Studio.
Just the way he got ready. I don't know if you remember the opening scene. Has a baby oil on his body, and everything tight, just clean.
That's
Beautiful.
amazing. That's amazing. I see you in Ralph's with the chainsaw right now.
Ralph's.
If you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice, what's that piece of advice and how old are you?
Oh, piece of advice I would give myself would be to be a little bit more patient. You know what? No, it would be to enjoy every step of the way, even if when you even quote unquote make it, smell the flowers and enjoy that moment. I didn't do that. I didn't do it that with Madison Square Garden. It was like, okay, what's next? What are we doing next? Or The Irishman. I didn't really soak in that I'm acting with some of the best actors of our time. You know, I just didn't even like really appreciate it. That's what I would have told myself at 24.
Wow.
Nice, yeah. No, most people don't live in the moment, which is the problem. You know?
Yeah.
People worry about the future, you got anxiety. People worry about the past, you're depressed.
It's amazing. It's amazing how we have careers with things that we enjoy to do.
God bless.
Right?
Yeah.
I enjoy performing. But do you actually sit there and enjoy the experience?
I do.
Enjoying the experience. You know?
Yeah.
It's I think it's two different things. I'm happy when I got the gig. I'm happy. But then I'm kind of like what Sebastian said. I'm thinking, oh, what's next? So I should take that time.
Yeah, you're more worried about what's next.
And enjoy and absorb what I'm doing at that particular moment, as opposed to, okay, well, this is gonna finish in 4 weeks, so what's next? And you know, because when I'm working, I kind of have the same things going on in my head. Did that work? Did I do that correct? Did they like this? Did I prepare enough? Should I have done it this way? I'm too busy doing that kind of stuff to actually sit back and relax and say, oh, shit, you know what? I got a scene with Joe Pesci tomorrow. Instead of, oh, shit, I got a fucking scene with Joe Pesci tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? No.
You know? It's like you got to put I had to put Dominic Lombardozzi in my back pocket right away.
Oh, yeah.
Walking to that table from my trailer to the time I got to the set, Dominic had to be gone. He had to be gone because it's hard. You know, you grow up idolizing these people. You know, these I said it before. Joe Pesci was my guy, man.
Joe Pesci is like a legend. I can't.
Jerry Ferrara cried when he got whacked. Remember?
Yeah. Oh no!
That's great.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. Give me a word or phrase that you despise hearing. Like for me, it would be literally. Like that's one of those. It's one of my triggers. I hate when people say literally.
Word or phrase despise. If it was over the pandemic, it was pod.
The pod.
You guys have a pod? Bothered me beyond belief.
Kids are
I got a pod. Come over here.
My kids are in pods all the time. I hate split
I got to tell you something, Sebastian. I literally hated that.
For fuck's sake. You know what? I stopped saying literally years ago. I mean, I'll add a syllable. I'll say legitimately, just because I hate.
You hate that word. I get it.
Fucking literally. I hate it. Literally.
What if you have to say something, but you really want to tell the person that you really mean it word for word?
I'll say legitimately.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Sebastian.
I hate people who give you bad news with a smile.
Yeah, it's called the news.
Oh yeah, it's good.
No. I mean, you go to
watch
the auto parts store, or these are the places that I go to, like the nursery or something. No, we don't have the gravel. We don't have that cement. We don't have the porcelain. I'm like, why the fuck are you smiling?
You should be upset.
You
should
know,
be on
we
the
don't
phone.
have it today. Should be
on the phone
it's on
ordering more
fucking
gravel.
truck coming. Like, I want to see like you're bothered by that. You don't have this particular item
I'm with you,
in
man.
your store. I want to see that you're angry. You're just as angry as me that you're not carrying this particular item.
I agree. It's terrible.
Anyway, I might be.
Good stuff.
Guys,
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was amazing.
Great.
Sebastian, I know you're busy, man. Thanks for taking the time coming on the pod, man.
Do you have a title for the movie you start shooting? Can you give that away yet?
Working title is about my father. So yeah, we start in September and for about 7 weeks. So maybe I'll come back on after that's done, and I'll give you the play-by-play.
I want to hear. I want to hear all about.
I want to know the anxiety that happened on set. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's. I'm happy for you, man.
Enjoy the moment.
I'm glad you got that off the ground, man.
Oh, and I
really am.
A request from my other brother-in-law. You have to come to MSG again. So. We all want to come see you.
That's
laugh our asses off.
So we're gonna make a big announcement here in July.
I was supposed. I was supposed to go see him.
Announcement. Hold on.
What's the big announcement he's talking about? Come on.
We'll be playing that part of the country.
My brother, thank you so much.
Hey, time, guys. Enjoy the rest of your summer and
best to you.
Thanks,
and the family, man.
Come back afterwards.
Take care, brother.